Good afternoon. My name is Beth Kohler. I am a proud graduate of 1997 of Clay High School and currently one of the school counselors here at Clay High School. It is my privilege to welcome you to this special Veterans Concert presented by the Clay High School Vocal Music Department. Veterans Day, formerly known as Armistice Day, was originally set as a U.S. holiday to honor the end of World War I, which officially took place on November 11, 1918. In 1938, legislation was passed declaring that November 11th be dedicated to the cause of the world peace and hereafter be celebrated and known as Armistice Day. As such, this new legal holiday would be set aside to honor World War veterans and to thank them for their valiant service. However, in 1954, after having been through both World War II and the Korean War, the 83rd U.S. Congress amended the Act of 1938 by striking out the word armistice and inserting the word veterans. On June 1st, 1954, November 11th was designated by Congress as a day to honor American veterans of all wars. For a period of time in the late 60s and 70s, Veterans Day observation was moved to October. However, President Gerald Ford signed a law which returned the annual observance day to the original date of November 11th, beginning in 1978, and continues to be to this day. The willingness of so many to lay their lives down for the cause of freedom is something we shall forever be indebted. To those that have paid the ultimate sacrifice defending our freedoms, to their families they have given and lost so much, and to all of those who protect for the life of liberty and happiness, we offer our deepest gratitude and bestowed upon them our most sincere respect and honor. We will always remember their service to our nation. On this Veterans Day, it is our privilege to present to you this musical salute to our armed forces personnel who are currently serving or who have served in peacetime and in war. Today, we declare to the brave, the selfless, the faithful, thank you.
Sweet land of liberty.
America the Beautiful is based upon a poem written by the professor, poet, and writer Catherine Lee Bates during an 1893 trip to Colorado Springs, Colorado. When she got to the top of Pikes Peak, the view was so beautiful that it inspired her to write, "All the wonder of America seemed displayed here with the sea-like expanse." The song is more than just a poetic appreciation of the country's wonders of nature. It evokes the vitality of the ever-widening America, celebrates its storied past, and most important, it invokes its limitless future potential. It hails the pioneering forebears who beat a thoroughfare of freedom across the wilderness, and it pays tributes to the nation's defenders in war, heroes who, more than self, their country loved. Listen to the majesty of the music in the text as the choir performs "America the Beautiful" and "My Land."
Beautiful for spacious sky. yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. I believe that I interpret the will of the Congress and of the people when I assert that we will not only defend ourselves to the uttermost, but will make it very certain that this form of treachery shall never again endanger us. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God.
The defense of liberty has always come at a price. For over 200 years, some 25 million men and women have courageously defended our land and our freedoms as a member of our armed forces. Today, more than 2 million men and women are serving in our armed forces as active and reserve personnel. They serve our country and the cause of liberty at home and abroad, enduring great injury and loss. Yet they do so willingly and with great conviction and responsibility. In a moment, the chorale will be singing the hymns of the 5 major branches of the armed forces, featuring the Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Marines, and Air Force. If you have served in our armed forces, we invite you to stand as the hymn from each force is performed, acknowledging your pride for having served our country and allowing us the opportunity to express our thanks for a job well done.
The United States Army. In World War I, 4,057,101 soldiers served valiantly on the field of battle. To all the men and women of the Army throughout our history, our salute. Navy. In World War II, 4,183,466 men and women answered the call to protect our country. To every member of the Navy on every battlefront, we salute you. Vietnam War, 794,000 Marines served their country with valor and honor. To every member of the Marine Corps who served in every conflict, we salute you. During the Persian Gulf War, 50,751 Air Force pilots put their lives on the line for the defense of freedom. To all the men and women of the Air Force who have continuously served our country, our salute. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, hiding high in the sun. Only comes to me to meet our thunder, our boys give it a gun. Down we dive, swelling our flames from under, off with one terrible roar. We live in fame, will now and flame, warriors of the Air Force. Army, Navy, Coast Guard, Marines, Air Force. This is the
At the beginning of last school year, the Ohio Department of Education created an award called the Purple Star. It was established to recognize military-friendly schools that demonstrate a major commitment to students and families connected to our nation's military. After submitting our application, Clay High School was honored last spring as one of the 85 high schools in the state to receive this designee. This designation was earned through Clay High School's commitment to serving military students and families in our school and community throughout various events and memorials. Here are a few examples of the various events that Clay High School has implemented to help create an environment that is military-friendly for their community. Last year was the first year for a military roundtable discussion with our recruiters answering questions and providing students with more information and knowledge about the various branches. During the football and basketball season of 2017 and 18, Clay hosted military appreciation events. The basketball event was really special, with the addition of the center court flag being lowered for the first time along Clay High School's new recruits, with their respective recruiter being honored. The most recent addition, the Flag of Valor. The Flag of Valor wall was dedicated at open house this past August. It was a gift bestowed to Clay High School by former principal Rick Heinschel. As many of you may know, Rick recently passed away. This gift was one of the last gifts Rick made to Clay High School. He felt it was important to honor those who are serving and who have served in defending our great country. This flag was handmade in the United States by combat veterans. They volunteered to serve our country and fought on foreign soil. They represent conflicts as long ago as Vietnam, as to recently the Iraq and Afghanistan. Together, they are a team of proud Americans who take seriously the opportunity to create something lasting for us. They believe Made in America still means something. They love our country. Today truly has been my honor and privilege to proudly present to you a small sample of how Clay High School was designated by the Ohio Department of Education as a Purple Star school. And lastly, thank you to all of those who have sacrificed so that we may live happily in the greatest country in the world, the United States of America.
God on high, hear my prayer in my need. You have always been there. He is young. Afraid, let him rest. Heaven blessed, bring him home, bring him home, bring him home. He's like the sun I might have known if God had granted me a son. The summers die one by one, how soon they fly, on and on, and I am old and will be gone. Bring him peace, oh, bring him joy. He is young, he is only a boy. You can take, you can give, let him be, let him live. If I die, let me die. Let him live. Bring him home. Bring him home. Bring him home. That song has become really a standard across our vocal literature in America as a prayer and a wish for our soldiers who are away fighting in harm's way for our freedom. And every time I sing that song, my heart is just moved for those who have gone and are placing their lives on the line. We, this year in our concert, are doing something very special to honor those who are serving or who have served. We are participating in the Wounded Warrior Project. And if you've come to our concerts in the past, you know that sometimes we'll ask for a donation from the audience in lieu of tickets to help support our program. Well, for this concert, we've elected to take any donations that are given and apply them and give them to the Wounded Warrior Project. And if you're not familiar with Wounded Warrior Project, they're a great charitable institution, organization that provides so many services to our veterans. When they come back from service, from active duty, some of them are badly injured, and they need so many helpful things to get their lives back, to kind of restore some sense of normalcy. Well, Wounded Warrior is one of those agencies that just comes in and lends a helping hand. And even for those who are actively serving on bases around the world, they help to supply needs that our soldiers have. So today, we are excited to announce that we've had some great partners come alongside us in this effort. First of all, I would like to thank today the Ohio District of Kiwanis International in coordination with the East Toledo, Oregon Kiwanis Club and their president, David Gigler, who may be in the house today. I'm not sure, Marty, if we can bring up some house lights here a little bit. I'd like to perhaps recognize David if he's here today. Bring up some lights there. David, are you out there this afternoon? There you are. Thank you, David. Thank you so much. And also another partner that we have with us, helping us in this effort, is Toledo Refining. And one of their great people, Christine Schultz, couldn't make it this afternoon, but she has been helping us throughout these last several weeks to get ready for this effort that we have. And Toledo Refining has agreed to match all of our donations up to $2,500. So would you help me give them a round of applause? So today, in a moment, we're going to have a few of our students come and they're going to pass around some donation boxes. And if you would like to participate in this gift to Wounded Warrior Project, everything you give today, up to $2,500, is going to be doubled by Toledo Refining. And so that's just a tremendous opportunity for us to be generous people who wants to reach out and make a difference in the lives of these warriors. So students, if you would come on down, those that I asked to help us, they're going to take these boxes that are up here, and we're going to make our way through the audience for a moment. And as they're coming through, I just want to also, we do Veterans Day concerts and programs throughout all of our schools. And there's been some great ones that's already happened this past Friday. And today, here in this concert, we have a number of young children. And so we're going to be showing a video here in just a moment that's called America's White Table. And it's primarily to help our children that are here today understand just a little bit better about what Veterans Day is all about. And so as our student ushers make their way through, we're going to be bringing the lights back down and going into this video. So thank you so much for being here today. You are making a difference right now by participating in this donation. And thank you to all of those veterans that stood and was recognized during our Armed Branches song. Thank you so much. Thank you for all your service.
America's White Table by Margot Thies Raven. It was just a little white table, but it brought tears of pride to my Uncle John's eyes the Veterans Day he came for dinner and stood by it. Set for one person, even though nobody would be eating at it. It was just a little white table, but earlier that day, Mama had told Gretchen, Samantha, and me the little table we were setting for Veterans Day was just like the ones that have stood across America in the dining halls of the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, and Air Force since the Vietnam War ended. The tables honor the men and women who serve in America's armed forces, especially those missing in action, our MIAs, and those held prisoner of war, our POWs. It was just a little white table, But it felt as big as America when we helped Mama put each item on it, and she told us why it was so important. We use a small table, girls, she explained first, to show one soldier's lonely battle against many. We cover it with a white cloth to honor a soldier's pure heart when he answers his country's call to duty. We place a lemon slice and grains of salt on a plate to show a captive soldier's bitter fate and the tears the family is waiting for loved ones to return, she continued. We push an empty chair to the table for the missing soldiers who are not here. We lay a black napkin for the sorrow of captivity and turn over a glass for the meal that won't be eaten, she said. We place a white candle for peace, and finally, a red rose in a vase tied with a red ribbon for the hope that all our missing will return someday. Mama finished speaking just as sunlight spilled on the table and filled the overturned glass. It was just a little white table, but it suddenly made me want to burst with a feeling I couldn't explain when Mama told us how much our setting the white table would mean to Uncle John that night. Then she told us something we didn't know. Our Uncle John, who gave us big bear hugs and spun us with airplane twirls and called me his Katie girl, was a POW in Vietnam before we were born. It was just a little white table, but it gave us the courage to ask Mama what happened to Uncle John in Vietnam. She quietly told us his story. When Uncle John served in Vietnam, he was sent on a rescue mission, and his helicopter was shot down behind enemy lines, she began. And he and his 3 crew members were taken prisoner. One crew member named Mike had serious wounds from the crash, but Uncle John and the other men tried to help Mike get better and persuaded a guard to bring Mike medicine. Then one day, when a guard looked away, Uncle John and the others had a chance to escape, but Mike was still too sick to go. So Uncle John stayed behind because he wouldn't leave a fellow soldier alone so far from home. But how did Uncle John get free, we asked Mama. Sometime later, Uncle John had a chance to escape again, and somehow he was able to take Mike with him, carrying him on his back and collecting just enough rainwater in big leaves to keep them alive until Uncle John found an American infantry unit to help them. But even though Uncle John did everything he could to bring Mike home alive, Mike's wounds were just too serious, and he died before the rescue helicopter landed. I know that Mike was only 20 years old and he dreamed of playing football, but he loved America enough to give his life for his country when duty called. And I know how much Uncle John loves America too, but he learned when helping Mike that a soldier risks his life for a fellow soldier, because the best of your country lives in every man and woman who would lay down their life for you too. It was just a little white table, but it needed words of gratitude like Mama's Thanksgiving meal. So before Uncle John arrived for dinner, Gretchen and Samantha and I decided to put 3 gifts of our own on the table to honor our veterans. Gretchen colored pictures of all the objects on the table, and Samantha wrote out the words of My Country 'Tis of Thee as a tribute in song. But I didn't know what I, a 10-year-old girl, could ever put on the table that was as important as each veteran's gift of freedom to me. It was just a little white table, but I looked at it all dinner long, and in the quiet inside me, I could almost hear the silent soldiers of the empty chair saying, "Remember us, please. We are real people like your Uncle John and Mike, who left families and friends, homes and dreams of our own, to protect your birthright of liberty from disappearing as easily as sunlight from a glass." It was just a little white table, but it took my words away when I hugged Uncle John goodnight and wanted to thank him for serving our country so bravely. So I just hugged him even harder and told him I loved him. Uncle John hugged me back even harder than I had hugged him. And that's when I knew what I could put on the table, my promise to put the words from my heart into a little book about America's white table. And in the book, I'd use Gretchen's pictures and Samantha's song, and Mama's story about Uncle John and his friend Mike, because I hoped that everyone who read it would set a white table on Veterans Day too, so the brave Americans the little table honors won't ever feel forgotten by the country they loved so much. Then in the salt on the little white table, I traced in the grains of their families' tears what each man and woman who serves America is to me, a hero. And that's when I saw the tears of pride fill my Uncle John's eyes.
The road is long, with many a winding turn that leads us to who knows where, who knows where. But I'm strong enough to carry him. He'd heavy. He's my brother.
Before the choir performs our final selection, I want to thank you for attending today's concert and for your continued support of the performing arts. Thank you to our school staff. Thank you, Beth Kohler, for your help today. Didn't she do a great job for us? Thank you to our administration for supporting our vocal music program and providing our students with the opportunity to give back to the community through this program today. Thank you, Mr. Jersky, Mr. Quigg, Mr. Gregory. They're all back there as school board members. Thank you so much. One or more of these students up here today might not yet know what their future looks like, but one day they may make the choice to serve our country in the military. I can think of two students right now who were standing on this stage a year and a half ago, for one, performing with our students in choir and in Limelighters who are now actively serving. And there are other recent grads who have volunteered to serve our country. If and when they make that choice, I want them to know that we will always be grateful for their service. As you leave in a moment, we invite you to visit the Clay High School Memorial Wall, which is down toward the front of the school. The CHS graduates, there's a wall display down there who have recently graduated, who are entered into the military and are serving. And as Beth illustrated earlier, the Flag of Valor wall, all down this hallway to your left. I'd invite you to go spend a few moments reflecting on what is there in the hallways. And last but not least, thank you to you for attending our concert and for supporting your children. You may have a child up here, a granddaughter, a neighbor. Thank you for supporting them and enabling them to do the extra things that it takes to be active in the performing arts here at Clay High School. And thank you so much to all of our veterans. Would you all join me in giving them one last round of applause?
If tomorrow all the things were gone I'd worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I'd thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know